Hey my glam girls, welcome back to my channel. It's Chelsea, where we talk about all things glam and all things girly. I am a beauty enthusiast that loves everything concerning beauty and makeup, but I also like to change it up and throw in some fashion and a little vlogging and all of that type of stuff. So if those videos are of interest to you, I would love for you to consider subscribing and joining the Glam Girl Squad. And today we've got one of Mother Pat's holiday releases. This is the Celestial Odyssey palette, and honey child, she's cute. So in this video, I will be sharing with you, of course, my thoughts on this palette, sharing with you how I created both of these eye looks, swatches of the palette, and then I'll just be doing a little comparison between the holiday palette she released last year. This is the Celestial Divinity palette. So stay tuned for all of that. Thank you so much for spending some time with me today. I truly do appreciate it, and let's get right into this video. Mother Pat came out with a new holiday release. This was the first palette that she did release in this collection. Like I mentioned before, this is the Celestial Odyssey palette. It does retail for $78 and we get 18 shades. Now, my palette arrived broken. And a lot of you all told me your palette arrived broken. So I think just right off the bat, this palette is extremely delicate in terms of how the shadows are pressed and also the cardboard packaging, because I've dropped a few of my Mothership's palettes and none of the shadows have even cracked. So I think although this cardboard packaging is quite sturdy and it does not feel cheap at all, I actually like it so much better than the packaging from last year's palette. This is the Celestial Divinity palette. It's a lot thicker, but I don't think the packaging is strong enough to prevent the shadows from breaking. So one of the shadows broke. It's this one right here. I have requested another palette from Pat Mcgrath. Their customer service has been amazing. Like, I sent my email, they replied within a couple of hours, and I have another palette on the way now. So I would recommend, if you can pick this up in store, pick it up in store. Some of you all have received this palette. It wasn't broken, but mine did come broken. Getting into this palette, when I saw it, I really enjoyed this color story here. I think it's beautiful, and it, in my opinion, looks a little different from the color story last year. So I was really excited about that. This one actually reminds me of like the winter. To me, it looks like a holiday palette. Maybe it's the outer packaging too. We've got this beautiful red packaging with gold embossing with diamonds and things like that. So maybe this just looks quite Christmassy, and that's why I feel like it looks more holiday-like. But anywho, like it nonetheless. So let's get into the swatches of this palette. So first we have Saturn Sunset. This is a beautiful burgundy shade that blends really nicely into the eye. And this is a matte shade. Next, we have Rose Venus. This is one of her metallic shades that has a little bit of a dual chrome reflectiveness to it. Gold Galaxy. Beautiful pure gold shimmer. Noor Moon. Look at that. Oh, stunning. Next, Bronze Nova. This is the shade that is shattered in my palette. This color is just beautiful. This is like a duochrome. It's got a gold and pink shift to it. Oh, so pretty. Nocturne. This is a matte shade that looks like a very true brown type of shade. Moving on to the next row, we have Galactic Glow. This is one of her shimmers that also have a metallic type of feel to it. And with these metallic shadows, none of them are crunchy. They're quite soft to the touch, which I do like. Sunrose Amber. This is a matte shade that has a light brown type of tan look to it. Lotus Luxe. Move that right on over. Another one of her shimmer shades that has like a duochrome shift to it. It's got, I feel like it's a mix between pink and burgundy almost, and it does have a bit of a metallic finish. Lunar Haze. Look at that. Oh, that shade is stunning. It is like the perfect, if I could say, wintry type of shade. It looks like it's a purple shift with it looks like a purple mixed with silver. Such a beautiful metallic-like shade. The last matte in the palette, this is the shade called Electric, and it's this beautiful pink color. And what I like about this color is it is quite pigmented, a lot more pigmented than it looks in the palette. Here is Heavenly Body, and this is a metallic duochrome shift type of shade. It has pink with, it looks like almost like gold and lime kind of mixed together. Okay, switching arms. Bronze Eclipse is this next shade. Such a beautiful bronzy shimmer. Solar Flare, beautiful, if I could say like a traditional shimmer shade. Nirvana, y'all. You were not ready. I know you weren't. Look at that. Does that first of all not scream Christmas and then scream gorgeous? Yes, it does. Corrupt Copper, stunning, stunning. Can you just see Corrupt Copper and Nirvana on the eyes together? These two shades right here. I'm done. I'm done. Palladium, beautiful, just beautiful. And then last but not least, we have Citrine Envy. Look at that. Look at that. It's like, this is another duochrome. You see the green and you see the gold in there. So here we have, get both my arms together. I feel like Alicia from Kinky Sweat with all the swatches. So here we have the entire palette swatched, and y'all, this palette, she's stunning. She is stunning. So getting into both of these eye looks, starting with this eye right here, excuse me, my palette is all over the place. I started out with this shade right here, this light tan shade, blended that into the crease. The mattes in this palette blend really beautifully, like really, really beautifully. Then I wanted to add a little depth to the crease, so I went in with this shade right here. I think this is called Saturn Sunset, yes. Went into this shade, took that directly into the crease. And I'm also using the new BK Beauty X Angie Hot and Flashy brushes from BK Beauty. Phenomenal. Those are phenomenal. Highly recommend those brushes. Completely recommend them. So went in with Saturn Sunset and concentrated that into the crease and built that color up, and it once again blended beautifully. And I really liked the combination of both of those shades on the eye. So then I had to go in with the shade called Nora Moon, and I wanted to do a little bit of a halo effect, so packed that on the outer edge and the inner edge of the eye, and that shadow built up so beautifully. It's not a shimmer topper, so I was able to build the color up and achieve good opacity. I would say if I really wanted to intensify the look of this shadow, next time I'll go in with a black base, and I think doing that will really intensify this shade and just give it all of the dimension that it really can achieve. But even with just applying it on the eye, it's beautiful. And mind you, I did not use an eye primer for either eye. I just wanted to go in with these shadows to see what intensity I could get with them just on the eye alone, and it's just beautiful. So then after that, I went in with this shade right here, and I used that as the initial halo portion of the eye, that center shade in the eye. And then to give further dimension, I had to go in with that green. I mean, you saw that green swatch. It was just perfection. And I love the dimension that gave this eye look. Went on to the lower lash line, and I went in with both of those brown shades. Went in with the deeper one first, blended that out, then blended it further with that lighter tan color. And then for the inner corner, I went in with this shade right here and added it right here, kind of blended that into Nora Moon color. And then I took that shade along the inner portion of the lower lash line, and that's how we got this eye look. And I didn't wear lashes today because I just felt like I didn't want the lashes to take away from these eye looks and how beautiful these shadows are looking on the eye. So, you know, I really wanted you all to see them. I love how this look turned out. So moving on to the second eye look, I started out with this pink matte shade right here. And like I said, when I first applied this into the crease, I was like, oh, this it's got a lot of pigment. I thought it was gonna be lighter and that it was gonna be one of those shades that you really had to build up to get the intensity, but no ma'am, like this shadow came to play. Like it has its own pigment. I would even use this particular shade as a blush. I didn't use it today, but I think it would be a really good blush shade that I could use in future videos. So I should have used it today. If I would have thought about it, I would have, but it's a beautiful shade nonetheless. So after I built that up, I initially just put it in the crease and then went in with a brush that had no type of shadow on it to blend it further into the transition area. After doing that, I went in with this shade right here and packed that on the outer edge of the eye. And I think that brought a nice little bit of added dimension to the eye look. Then I went in with this particular shimmer shade right here, and I concentrated that right along here. Then I moved up to this shade right here and used that along the center of the eyelid. And then the inner corner of the eyelid, I will use this shade. And that shade, I feel like could be a shimmer topper. I was able to build it up to where I could wear it alone. So it's not completely sheer, but it's also a shade that you could put on top of another one and you could get more dimension from that shade. So I do like that shade for that. Then I wanted to go in and add a little bit of dimension, and I went in with this like purplish silver shade, and it is stunning. So I added that to the center of the eye, and I do feel like that kind of like took over the other shades that I had below it. So I tried to kind of like blend out the edges of it so that you know, you could kind of see a mixture of all the shades, but that shade is stunning nonetheless. Like I need that all over the eyelid. I also use that shade for the inner corner of my eye. And then for the lower lash line, I just went back in with those first two matte shades. I started off with the deeper matte shade right here, and then I blended it with this lighter pink shade. And that's the eye looks. I mean, very simple eye looks in my opinion, nothing like too crazy or dramatic, but the intensity that comes with these shimmers is amazing. I used almost every shade in the palette. I didn't use the gold shades and the bronze shades, but for the most part, I used the majority of the shades in the palette. I highly recommend this palette. I like this palette better than her palette last year. I remember when I initially reviewed it, and just so you know, you're a little confused on what I'm talking about, this one is great. I remember when I first saw this one, I was just kind of like, I'm gonna get it because it's mother, but I don't see myself using it. And I actually used this one more than I thought I would. And so looking at both of these palettes, I'm kind of just gonna move them back and forth so you can see them. They are not identical palettes. I don't feel like they look so much alike that if you have this one, that there really isn't a need for this one. I do definitely feel like you can own both of these and get good use out of both of these. Looking at this palette, I really don't see any shades that are like overtly similar that I feel are even worth swatching, because when you look at them in the pan, it's just like, oh no, I can definitely see the difference. So I really feel like if you have this palette, you're not going to repeat yourself with getting Celestial Odyssey. Is that how you say it? Yes. I always feel like I'm gonna mix these names up. This one, I think, like I said, is beautiful, and I highly recommend this palette. Like I said, I know I'm gonna reach for this one much more than I reached for Celestial Divinity, and Celestial Divinity is stunning. Like, I really enjoy this one. I don't know, this one, the formula is just, she killed it with the formula. And like I said, looking at these eye looks, I just feel like the shimmers are just so impactful. They did not come to play. And ironically, I did not get a lot of fallout either. Like, I thought I would have had more fallout because there are more metallic light shades in this palette. As you saw from the swatches, we have very few matte shades. We've got a total of 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4 matte shades. So we have a total of 14 shimmer metallic light shades. So I thought I would have had more fallout, but I really had very little fallout. I had a little bit fallout on this eye, hardly any on this eye. And like I said, I thought I would have had more. I can't say enough good things about this palette. I highly recommend it. It's beautiful. I I'm here for it, totally here for it. So let me know your thoughts of both of these eye looks. Let me know how you feel about this palette. If you already have it, do you really like it? How do you think it compares to Celestial Divinity? And should we do a showdown between the two? Should we? I don't know. That actually might be a fun video to do a showdown. One eye with this one, and then one eye with this one. I'm interested. Let me know if you're interested in a showdown video between both of those palettes. I think that would be fun to do. And that's it. Thank you so much for watching this video. Of course, like I said, let me know your thoughts down below on the eye looks. If you have this palette, do you enjoy it? Do you like it, and do you recommend it? And if you made it to this point in the video and you have yet to subscribe to my channel, I would love for you to consider subscribing and joining the Glam Girl Squad. And guys, that is it. Thank you so much for watching, and I really hope to see you in my very next video. Bye, guys.